You can say a lot, you can show a lot, you can build a lot, but when there is a shit hits the fan moment, it's about you. That they will also enter your office, step in, like, hey, are these guys here today? Because we need to have a talk.
What's the most important topic that we should be talking about that we've not mentioned?
That's an interesting question.
So, Milan, I think knowing your story, it's very inspiring for anyone who's got the ambition of building a business. So, can you take us through briefly what the last 10 years of your journey has been like?
Yes, for sure, I can. 10 years is a long time, right? And it always surprised me if I'm look back into the last decade, what actually happened. Because we started our business and everything was kind of new for me, the hosting business. So I wouldn't say I'm an expert. You need to learn everything about hosting in general, which I did very quickly. But before I got there, I made also many mistakes, stupid mistakes that you really need to take before getting somewhere. And let's say it started all from the first year because we stepped in the Magento community in the Benelux region. We had a team with 4 people. 3 of them were technical experts. They built the product and maintained the product, and it was up to me to make it a commercial success. So the first question then is, where are you going to start, right? And we knew, there are plenty of Magento web applications out there, but there are also partners. And it always starts with the first question, like, hey, do you chase partners first because they can bring you way more customers in on an efficient way? Or is it approaching these merchants first? So this was, I think, the first exercise of learning a lot by making mistakes. Because we thought like, okay, let's dig into this partner landscape. It seems attractive. There are plenty of opportunities. We do have a proper story. We do have a solid product. So let's make it happen. But it was very difficult because Hypernode was there already. Yeah, and they had built an amazing partner network. So for us, it was really tough to get in there. And however, we were able to speak about ourselves, tell the story, show the product in a proper way. Yeah, the door was always closed. So after 1 year, we thought like, okay, we really need to do something different because this isn't going to work. So we started approaching the biggest merchants in the Benelux region by making very special offers and focusing fully on performance and on or support, because I think from a hosting perspective, managed hosting perspective, facilitating support is the most crucial part of the business. You can say a lot, you can show a lot, you can build a lot, but when there is a shit hits the fan moment, it's about you, because you need to show your customers that you are there to help them out in a really, really quick way. And I think that was the part that we captured. We really knew how to do it, and then it's a little bit more easy to show it. Yeah, so approaching merchants in the landscape of where partners make mainly the decisions was a little bit stupid from the first moment onwards, but it really helped us growing the business.
Yeah, I think, like you say, once you get them first few customers, it gives you that confidence that you are doing it right and you
Yeah,
have got that proposition and people are interested.
yeah. Starting a business isn't easy, right? There are a lot of different elements that needs to be connected, and before that's the case, yeah, you still feel sometimes a little bit uncertain about, yeah, are we doing right? Is it possible to get a foot in the market? Because there's a lot of competition out there, and yeah, you're the smallest guy. Just with a couple of teammates, try to get some market share. And that's not easy, especially if such a company as Hypernode, which was back then already the biggest
Yeah.
in our industry, had very strong connections with all of these agencies. And I can imagine you are aware as well that the influence agencies have based on their customers is quite big.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the number of business owners that simply don't have the time to understand technology.
No,
They have to trust their agencies and their partners to lead them in the right direction.
exactly.
Fast forward a few years, eventually you get acquired. What does that feel like?
It's amazing to be in such a situation, because it's in the first place recognition that you do the right things and that you know how to build a company, how to scale it, and make it so attractive that other companies out there become show interest in your own company. So yeah, it makes you proud. But I have to say, before that specific moment when it all starts, yeah, there happened a lot before. And I told you, yeah, the first year wasn't that easy. We made a lot of mistakes. We get multiple times like, no, however, your story was pretty good. No, we keep it like it is. We stick with our partner. We stick with our current host. But after a couple of years, yeah, everything started to change. And as I mentioned earlier, we started to open partnerships, and I think every month again it increased. We got more and more, and also the ones who said in the most early stage, like, no, we're not gonna listen to you. However, we like you guys. Your story is proper. We believe you guys can do it. We think what we currently have is worth it to keep. So for now, it's still a no. So in all these years, yeah, they started to change a little bit. Doors went open. Our customer base grew pretty hard. I think for 6 years we doubled every year
Wow.
in revenue, and that's only because of putting focus in the right direction, making sure that you make your customers happy, and being able to quickly adopt how to handle a partner landscape.
Yeah.
And if you do it for the first time, yeah, everything is new. You are not aware about how to do things. So we learned very quickly. Yeah, and if you then, let's say, 10 years later, are able to do such a acquisition, yeah, then it's a big compliment for everybody who was involved. It's not about me as one of the founders, but it's also about the team, because hosting isn't an easy job.
Mm. How did the acquisition come about? Like, was it, how did you find out about it? Was it just a phone call one day and you're like, it's done? Or was it a hard
No,
process?
no. Yeah, to be very honest, the interest in our company grew in the last couple of years. So multiple companies have reached out to us to open a conversation about, hey, are you guys interested to listen to our story? Because we think we can help you scale your company further. The first couple of times we said no to everybody. No, we know how to do it ourselves. We're in a good position. Our cash flow is healthy. There's plenty of room to invest. We can scale our team. We can scale our customer base. But yeah, after a couple of times, it makes you curious. And what does it mean to start thinking about selling your company? So it makes you kind of eager to listen to their story. And I think after the third time, we figured like, okay, let's just have a proper conversation and see where it will bring us. We can always say no, but we can also listen to their story. And if it's interesting, let's figure out what then the next step will be. So yeah, it ended up like that. But they started reaching out to us in many different ways. LinkedIn messages, which is, I think, channel number one for these types of acquisitions. Phone calls, text messages, emails. Yeah, they will find you in all different ways. Yeah, and more later, they will also enter your office, step in, like, hey, are these guys here today? Because we need to have a talk. So yeah, they're creative if they are very interested in your
Well, they were
company.
definitely interested.
Yeah. It's exciting, but it's also difficult because on the other side, yeah, you still need to run your business, right? And this is a whole side activity that comes on top of everything you are already doing, and that makes it sometimes a bit challenging, but also exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so it's no secret. It takes a particular character to scale a business. It's not cut out for everyone. What key skill would you say has helped you through that journey?
Yeah, in the first place, I think you need to feel confident that there is a proper product in place. Because, yeah, I'm a commercial guy. I'm always looking for opportunities. I really like selling a product, especially in difficult circumstances where people will say, like, today not, buddy, maybe the next time. But without having a proper product in place, yeah, it's almost impossible. So let's say you do have a proper product and you feel confident about the team that's behind you that is also able to do the job on a daily basis. Yeah, then I think the special character you need to have is a person who isn't accepting no. And you get no multiple times. I can imagine in your own business, this is
Yeah.
actually the same thing. But what are you gonna do if people say no twice to you? Do you accept the no and hop on, or do you think like, okay, I'm gonna give it a third try? And I think I'm that type of a person who doesn't accept no. And yeah, after a decade, I can tell honestly that that was also making a difference because customers who rejected us in the first years multiple times, yeah, they're now happy customers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, and the how many no's before a yes. I always think of it as it's a not right now.
yeah,
And it's like you just need to adjust the proposition and get it right so that
yeah,
whatever it takes, what do
exactly.
you need to do to work with us is
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. But yeah, again, without having a proper product and a solid team that is also capable of doing the things they need to do, you won't get that confidence that you can keep trying to get a yes
Mm,
ultimately.
yeah. You're now with Hypernode,
Yeah,
and I've been aware of Hypernode for a number of years, partners for a
yeah.
portion of that. Um, what was your initial plan for breaking into the UK market? Obviously, being a European hosting business.
Based on the merger, my former company Hypex together with Hypernode, yeah, we became the market leader in our own region, which is the Benelux region. Hypernode was already, but with Hypex adding on top of that, yeah, it became bigger and bigger. Yeah, and if the goal is to make sure that you can keep growing, then ultimately you need to think about different regions. DACH region, which is next to the Benelux region, makes a lot of sense. However, we felt immediately like it needs to be the UK, based on multiple reasons. In the first place, no language barrier. I think culture from a UK perspective compared to, let's say, people from the Benelux is kind of the same. So that makes it more easy to have conversations. Yeah, and there was already a little bit of experience within the UK region, which made it more easy to say like yes, and now we go full for the UK market. Yeah, it starts with a decision, but it needs to get a follow up based on execution. So you need to have a strategy, you need to have a vision, and again, I think here as well, accepting no then will become important again because in your own region you're familiar with how to scale your business, but in a new region everything starts from scratch again. Yeah, and that's the game I like to play, but again together with a solid product and a proper team that is doing an amazing job.
How did you find the execution then? Putting the strategy in place. Was it smooth sailing? Like what major issues did you find?
Yeah, I think what really helped us out there is that the Magento community in special was already a thing where we were familiar with. So besides the fact that it is a new region and there is almost no network in place yet, yeah, people within the community expect the same things. They're all familiar with Magento. They all are keen to have proper infrastructure in place because otherwise you can't be successful at all, right? So yeah, we had a vision, we had a team, we had a product, and then I think the next step is to get the right people in, because we believe that you also need to have people with local boots on the ground. And it would really help you if there is already kind of a network in place, which can open doors a little bit more quickly. And it might be that you need to be lucky to find these people. Yeah, and if you combine that with your own vision, your own philosophy, and you train people in the way like, okay, and this is what you need to do, this is how you need to execute, and this is the strategy where we believe that it will work. Yeah, then it's just keep doing the things you need to do. And as I mentioned earlier in the conversation, with Hypex, we started approaching merchants, but now our partner landscape was already way bigger. So that makes it a little bit more easy to also chase partners and expand your network. And that's what we did in the UK. And that's the reason why we are sitting here today, right?
Exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've touched on communities, Magento community being one of them, and obviously, your partner-led strategy.
Yeah.
For whatever comes next for Hypernode, what characteristics, what traits, what skill set are you looking for in partners or the community that will help you on the next phase of your journey?
That's an interesting question. To be very honest, I think without partners, Hypernode wasn't so successful as we are today. Partners are super important, but there are partners in all different places, and they're also all do have different capabilities. What stands out is that we are looking for partners that really understand how e-commerce in general works. And then more specific, Magento. Because that's the game we play already for more than 20 years. And that's also what we expect from partners. Because if you then can combine both strengths, then it would empower the customers we do have in between. So combining infrastructure with application related knowledge and make sure that you both are working on improving performance, scalability, security, which becomes way more important these days. Combining that with really proactive support is the game changer here. So we are not interested anymore in, let's say, the highest amount of partners. We are really interested in partners that offer quality instead of quantity.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I fully agree, and I've been a big advocate for partnerships more focused on a local level historically.
Yeah.
What recommendations would you make to anyone who's looking at building that partner network on an international level, like Hypernode have achieved?
It's funny because this is a discussion that we do have multiple times within our company. And I personally believe that you can't create a partnership with having a relationship first. So you really need to know who is the person behind the screen. You really need to understand what values somebody does have. And the way to make to get a good starting point is to meet each other face to face and to get a personal relationship first. Because if you get the feeling like, hey, we could become friends, then it would also make the professional life a little bit more easy. So I am aware that there are partnerships all over the place, and that partnership on itself is a word that people use pretty easy. But what stands out in a partnership is that there is a real connection, and that you know how to find each other, that you can be open to each other, but that you can also, let's say, sometimes be a little bit more critical in a positive way to make the partnership stronger. So really invest in a partnership by human first, to make sure that you then more lately can involve customers as well.
Yeah. How important do you think partnerships are going to be with the shift at the moment around the whole AI explosion? Do you think that you're looking for a different type of partner next? Or do you just think it's about, like you say, doubling down on those with that particular skill set?
I think that partnerships will always survive. We're human, and we always will be human. And human really like to mingle with each other, to have a strong connection, to talk, to learn, and to steer in the right direction. And that's also where business is about. That there is now AI in place is a great thing, because I can imagine it will make our lives way more easier. We can increase the level of efficiency. But that doesn't need to say that these personal relations do not need to be there anymore. So I think it can be a strong combination by using AI, but also having these personal relationships, and in the end make our mutual customers successful. So the more efficient we can be, the more time you can spend with your partners, that will make the relationship way more stronger. And then there's the beneficial component for the customers, and that's where we aim for.
And with your experience and being on the inside, how do you see AI impacting hosting and solution providers over the next couple of years?
That's a challenging question. AI is here. Everybody is used to it and use it in their daily operations, which is nice to see. But I can imagine this is just the starting point. For some businesses, it's really clear how to use AI in their daily operations. But I think there are many tiers, and hosting companies are typical a type of company that is maybe operating on a lower tier and still in the situation of figuring out how AI can, let's say, help our partners, help our customers, but also make sure that it is there to make our own teams more efficient. So we deal with support on a daily basis. You can imagine with so many customers, we got a lot of questions on a daily basis. And the interesting part is to analyze where are these questions about and how can we improve? How can we be more efficient so that AI is a pretty useful tool to make that a little bit more clear for us, is a known thing. And now we're also figuring out how we can use it in our product. So for example, we just released a new product, which is Hypernode Insights. And with so many customers, we do have thousands of customers. There's a lot of data behind the scenes available. Think about how customers configure their caching. Think about how they configure MySQL, for example. So we can set up proper benchmarks, which we already do, and we want to bring the data, the lessons that people can adopt to make their own business more efficient and stronger by using AI. And that's where Hypernode Insights is about. So using it for comparisons, using it for recommendations, using it for alerts to show you like, hey, this is the place where you need to be, where you need to improve.
Yeah. You know, a little bit further downstream, but I'm excited for the AI side of like merchandising, putting those recommended products up front for the right customer at the right time.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that I'm excited about. Do you think there's anything like your partners and, you know, merchants that you're working with should be concerned around with AI?
I'm not sure if concerned is the right way. I really believe that in an industry like e-commerce, innovation is always there and it evolves rapidly, right? So as an agency, you should always show interest in the way how it goes. So do not see AI as a risk, but wonder how can we start using it to make our customers more successful. Try to spend time on how to make sure that you can boost conversions from your customers in the way by using AI. If it needs to be the checkout, if it needs to be recommendations, if it needs to be search. There are many components where AI can bring a lot of added value on top of what you already have. But I think you should be keen to explore how you can make that happen as an agency for your customers. And I believe the ones who will survive in the long run are the ones who adopt innovation in the most early stage.
With your experience, what's the most important topic that we should be talking about that we've not mentioned up to this point?
Both companies, like you on the agency side, and we as Hypernode on the infrastructure side, facilitating hosting for our customers, won't be here if there was no customer in between. So what I think is super important is that besides a partnership we have and we can be really proud of, is that we also need to involve customers because it's all about them. And if we can help them by paying more attention to their issues, their challenges, but also tools they need to have to make sure that they can boost their conversions, then it will also create the new fundament for companies like us to make sure that we will also survive in the long run. So we can talk about a lot of interesting topics, and we always have to, but we do not need to forget who our customers are.
And for any ambitious brand or business looking to expand across Europe, what advice would you give them?
Focus on your product first and make sure that you offer value. And especially with AI now here available, um, it could become a little bit more difficult to create quick value. And as long as you are capable of adding value, yeah, then I think you're in the right spot. So focus on your product before thinking about how to make a lot of money.
Milan, thank you. Cheers.
Yeah, thank you.